Welcome, brave souls, to a tale that will chill you to your core and keep you at the edge of your seat. Tonight, you'll be stepping into the shadows of an old forgotten hotel, a place where time seems to stand still and where the past never truly lets go. What happens when curiosity leads you to uncover a long-buried secret? What if that secret reaches out and pulls you into its dark, inescapable grasp? Prepare yourself for a journey into suspense, mystery, and the supernatural, where every twist leaves you questioning what's real and what's just a haunting illusion. In this story, we meet Liam, a former journalist who sought refuge in a quiet coastal town, hoping for peace after a troubled past. Now working as a janitor in a long-abandoned hotel, he thinks the calm life is all he needs. But one night, while working the graveyard shift, he stumbles upon a chilling mystery that shakes him to his core. A mysterious set of bloody fingerprints, an eerie old phonograph playing a song from the past, and the tragic tale of a young woman named Catherine who vanished decades ago. As Liam digs deeper into the hotel's dark history, he becomes entangled in a web of unsettling dreams, cryptic clues, and strange occurrences that suggest Catherine's spirit may still be trapped within the hotel's walls. The deeper Liam goes, the more he begins to question if he's unraveling a forgotten tragedy or if the hotel itself is trying to keep its secrets locked away forever. What follows is a journey of suspense and discovery, as Liam races against time to solve the mystery, all while trying to escape a fate he never saw coming. Prepare yourself for a story that builds, twist by twist, until you'll be left breathless. This is a tale where the past is never really gone, and some things are better left undiscovered. Liam never imagined his life would bring him here. He was once an investigative journalist known for his determination and his ability to dig up truths hidden in the darkest corners. But his last case changed everything. It shattered his trust in the world and in himself. Whatever he'd uncovered left him scarred enough that he fled his career, his city, and the memories that had come with it. The coastal town where he ended up was quiet, sleepy, the sort of place where people forgot about you if they didn't see you for a few days. Liam didn't mind that at all. He took a job as a night shift janitor at the Grand Meridian Hotel, a vast, crumbling place that overlooked the cold, gray sea. Built in the 1920s, the hotel still had the grandeur of its heyday. Lavish chandeliers, marble floors, and gilded mirrors. But time had worn it down, and the guests it once hosted were long gone. Most people in town spoke of the Grand Meridian with a strange mix of reverence and fear. The place was rumored to be haunted, though few could say by whom or what. But that didn't bother Liam. After all he'd been through, he figured no ghost could disturb him. And then, one night, while cleaning the ballroom, he heard it. A soft, scratchy melody floated through the empty space, cutting through the stillness like a memory brought to life. Liam paused, mop in hand, straining to place the sound. The ballroom was dark, and the shadows clung to the corners. There, in the far corner of the room, stood a dusty phonograph, spinning slowly, the needle gliding over a worn, crackling record. He hadn't even known the phonograph worked, much less that it had a record on it. He walked toward it, transfixed by the melancholy tune that echoed through the silent room. He could almost hear faint voices in the music, as though it held secrets, waiting to be unlocked. As he moved closer, something on the floor caught his eye. He froze. There, scattered across the gleaming floorboards, were small, bloody fingerprints. Each mark seemed deliberate, as though someone had pressed down hard, leaving a trail that stretched across the ballroom and disappeared into the hallway. The prints led him down the hall, where they grew fainter, only to vanish entirely into a wall near the guest suites. Liam's chest tightened. He'd spent enough years as a journalist to recognize a breadcrumb trail, and his instincts told him that there was a story here, waiting to be uncovered. Despite the unease prickling at the back of his mind, he found himself compelled to follow it. The next day, he decided to ask around town. It wasn't easy. The locals were tight-lipped and cautious, as though speaking of the hotel's past might summon something they weren't ready to face. But after some coaxing, he pieced together bits of a haunting story. They said the bloody fingerprints might have belonged to Catherine, a young woman who stayed at the hotel in the 1930s. She'd been beautiful, with a warmth and charm that drew people to her. But one night, she vanished. No one knew what had happened, only that she was never seen again. And though her story faded over time, people said her spirit still roamed the hotel, lingering in its lonely hallways, searching for something or someone. Liam found himself haunted by the idea of her, this woman lost to time. A part of him was drawn to her story, as though her tragedy mirrored something inside him, a kind of darkness he recognized in himself. He couldn't help but dig deeper. He went through the hotel's records, combed through old newspapers, and asked anyone he could find for details about Catherine's life. The nights stretched on, each one thick with shadows and the feeling of being watched. Then, one evening, as he returned to his room, he found a note slipped under his door. Written in a delicate, flowing script, it simply said his name, Liam. He unfolded it, examining the old yellowed paper. It held no other message, but the handwriting sent a chill down his spine. He brushed it off, assuming it was a prank, but something in the back of his mind told him otherwise. Then, the next night, he found another note. This time, it was lying on his bed when he returned from his shift. The message was cryptic, a single line that read, "Remember." Each letter was elegant, as though written with great care. Over the following days, the notes kept coming. They appeared under his door, in his closet, even slipped into his janitor's cart. Each note contained a word, a date, or a small hand-drawn sketch of places around the hotel. By now, Liam was sure it wasn't a prank. The notes were leading him somewhere, or perhaps someone was leading him. Catherine, he thought. The notes felt like whispers from another time, calling to him. Then came the dreams. At first they were brief, fragments of scenes that vanished as soon as he woke, but gradually they grew more vivid, lasting longer, filling his nights with unsettling memories that felt like his own. He saw the hotel as it had been in its prime, a grand, bustling place with laughter echoing in the halls. And in the middle of it all, he saw her. Catherine. In his dreams, she moved with grace, a soft smile always on her lips. But there was a sadness in her eyes, something haunting that pulled at him. In one dream, he watched her dance alone in the ballroom, her figure bathed in a soft glow. In another, he saw her walking down the hallway where the fingerprints had led him, glancing over her shoulder as though someone were following her. Each morning he awoke in a cold sweat, the hotel's silence pressing in on him like a weight. He knew he had to find the truth. Driven by the strange clues in the notes and the eerie clarity of his dreams, he began searching the hotel, following the remnants of Catherine's life. He uncovered hidden places, a room that had been locked for decades, a stairway concealed behind a wall, and finally, a small letter pressed between the pages of an old Bible. The letter was from Catherine, written in a trembling hand. She spoke of a love that had betrayed her, a man who had hidden a dark secret, She'd discovered something she wasn't meant to know, and it had cost her everything. The words cut through Liam, and he could almost feel her presence, urging him forward, pushing him to finally uncover the truth. Then, one night, the music from the phonograph began to play again, louder this time, its mournful tune filling every corner of the hotel. He heard footsteps echoing in the hall, coming closer and closer to his door. When he opened it, he found another note lying on the floor. But this one was different. "Help me," it read. Before dawn, a chill swept over him. He realized, with a clarity that shook him, that he was running out of time. The hotel itself seemed to give him an ultimatum: uncover the truth by morning, or join Catherine's spirit, trapped forever within these walls. He followed the clues with newfound urgency, the hotel's labyrinthine hallways twisting and turning, leading him deeper into its secrets. Finally, he reached a locked door, one he'd never seen before. The knob was icy, but it turned easily under his hand, and he stepped inside. The room was like a preserved tomb. Everything was as it had been decades ago: dust-coated furniture, an old vanity, and, on the floor, a broken mirror. In the mirror's reflection, he saw her. Catherine's spirit stood there, her figure pale and translucent, her eyes filled with sorrow. She looked at him, a silent plea in her gaze. She needed him to finish what she could not. Then he saw it. A torn letter beneath the broken mirror, the final piece of her story. It was a confession, scrawled in desperate words by the man who'd loved her, a man who had killed her to keep his secrets safe. Reading it, Liam felt a surge of anger and grief. He realized now why she was trapped here, why her spirit wandered these empty halls, unable to rest. He read the letter aloud, his voice steady, breaking the silence that had held the truth captive for so long. As he spoke, Catherine's figure grew brighter, her sorrow fading, replaced by a look of peace. She gave him one last grateful smile before dissolving into the dawn. The music stopped, the weight over the hotel lifted, the shadows receded, and for the first time, Liam felt truly free. He stepped out into the morning light, knowing he'd not only freed Catherine, but also himself from the burdens he'd carried. The Grand Meridian Hotel returned to its slumber, its haunting melody silenced forever. And Liam, at last, was ready to start a new chapter of his life, with a heart unburdened and a soul at peace.